Alright, I'm back. I could not find anything in my eye, but I do feel like there is something in it. Oh boy, what's going on here? But yes, I already looked up the name of the next author, Drew Bear, which, looking at the list, this is the second last SCPs of that we get to, well, from the main series. There's a couple joke SCPs left, but from the main series, Drew Bear is the second last one. And the previous one from Drew Bear is 2768. Oh yeah, it's that one baby that spawns like a bunch of like adults that are all like fighting over the baby, which I think is supposed to indicate that like each of them are like a future version of a potential future version of who the baby is going to become. I might be wrong though. I could be fully wrong, but that's the last one. The human potential was the last one we had of Drew Bear. Now we got ancient physics. Okay, here we go. Save. Special containment procedures. All instances of SCP-2837 are to be kept at separate sites. No instances are allowed to be at the same site for any period of time without the consensus of both the lead researcher or on SCP-2837 and site director. Dash 1 is kept at site 17, suspended in the center of a cell measuring 4 meters cubed. Dash 2 is kept at site. By the way, mechanic, how are you feeling? I know it's getting late. You doing good? It's kept at site 24, suspended in the center of the cell measuring 60 meters cubed. Dash 3 is kept at a site 37, suspended in the center of all cell measuring 50 meters cubed. Dash 4 is kept at a site 50, suspended in the cell of a cell measuring 35 meters cubed. Interesting. All containment cells are to have access doors located only in one of the upper corners of the chamber, with a walkway extending to the center of the room, allowing access to the SCP-2837 instance. I'm doing good? Yeah, nope, I'm feeling good. I had a big meal, had my gamer subs, so energy-wise I'm doing good. Just need to make sure I have enough sleep tonight for tomorrow. By reference, only telepresence robots are allowed to enter the range of effect of an SCP-2837 instance. In the rare event that direct human exposure is required, only D-class personnel are to be used. SCP-2837 instances present a null probability of active containment breach. If accessed or moved by an outside force or individual, follow standard protocols for neutralizing the outside agent. Also, let me just... SCP-2837, Friday and Saturday streams is fine. Yeah, no, you told me that. SCP-2837 consists of a set of 4 perfect platonic solids composed of different unidentified indestructible substances. The edges of each instance are 17.37 centimeters in length. Each instance is surrounded by an anomalous region of space centered on it, within which the laws of physics are altered such that all matter consists of a mixture of 4 indivisible particles. Described below, and the law of thermodynamics and motion are greatly simplified. Normal molecular structures are replaced by simple structures composed of these particles, which interact in a manner sufficient to mimic those of standard molecules. The action by which this mimicry works is poorly understood. Dash 1 is a tetrahedron composed of a uniform red wavelengths, 700 nanometers substance? I don't know. Its range of effect is sphere with a radius of 1.74 meters. All exothermic reactions occurring within this volume produce approximately 50% more thermal energy than they do outside the affected region. Okay, so if any fire in it would be stronger? Bigger? Inside the affected region, all thermal and electrodynamic energetic processes are facilitated by the transfer of nanoscopic tetrahedral particles. Purely thermal or electric discharges are composed exclusively of these particles in varying concentrations and luminosities. Dash 2 is a cube composed of a uniform green wavelength, 549 nanometer substance. A range of effect is a sphere with a radius of 27.8 meters. Within the affected region, the force of gravity is normalized such that all objects within its experience 9.8 meters per seconds to of acceleration towards the center of Earth, regardless of the distance from the Earth. It continues to bidirectional flow of nanoscopic cubical particles extend from all solid objects towards the center of the Earth. Additionally, any magnetized objects form similar, less intense flows with ferromagnetic objects within the affected region. Also, matter contains high concentration of these particles, with element iron being formed exclusively of them. So, Dash 1, bigger fire, stronger fire. Dash 2, a shift in gravity or like increasement of gravity. Well, it says here, the force of gravity is normalized such that all objects within it experience of acceleration towards the center of Earth because of the distance from the Earth. So that means like, you know how like it's basically like a small little vacuum, I guess, because you know how like you talk about like if you have like a feather and a steel ball and you let go, at the end like the steel ball naturally will fall faster, but looks like in this case the feather and the steel ball will fall around the same time. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm understanding this correctly, and it does not matter how high up or how low you have it, it will always fall at that speed. Like you could have it like down here, it will fall at that speed. You can have it up here, it will fall at that speed. I think that's what it's trying to say. Dash 3 is an octahedron composed of a uniform yellow, wavelength 570 nanometer substance. Its range of effect is a sphere with a radius of 6.95 meters. Sapient creatures report a greater clarity of thought and ease of thinking within the affected region and perform on average 15% higher on standardized measures of intelligence and achievement than they do outside the region. At first I thought I'm going to not understand this SCP, but it actually makes a lot of sense. And I think it's pretty cool. Dense clouds of nanoscopic octahedral particles surround all living brain tissue within this affected region, with density operating according to the inverse square law. Additionally, all objects that contain or transmit coherent information are accompanied by similar but less dense clouds of these particles. Speech, music, written, text, data storage, computer hardware, etc. All gases within the effective range are rendered uniform and breathable and are composed exclusively of these particles. Dash 4 is an icosahedron composed of uniform blue Hold on. Dash 4 is an icosahedron composed of a uniform blue wavelength 446 nanometer substance. Its range of effect is a sphere with a radius of 15.6 meters. All coefficients of friction are reduced by approximately half within the affected region. Additionally, all mechanical or kinetic processes are facilitated by the transfer or action of nanoscopic icosahedral particles. All liquids are composed primarily of these particles, with purified water being composed exclusively of them. Okay, for a hot moment, I was like, are these all like related to the Fantastic Four? Like how like Dash 1 could be related to the Human Torch because of fire. Dash 2 could be related to the Thing because he's made out of rock, so he's heavier. Dash 3 because it's like a bigger brain, a flux of information, Mr. Fantastic. But then Dash 4 came across with like all coefficients of friction are reduced by approximately half within the effect. Additionally, all mechanical or kinetic processes are facilitated by the transfer or action of nanoscopy. All liquids are composed primarily of these particles, with purified while being composed exclusively. The Dash 4 does not seem like a Invisible Girl power, to be honest. It does not seem to be related to that. Who knows? Maybe the discussion page will say like, yeah, no, it is actually. it would just be funny if it was. Or at least it would be a cool, like, a little subtle way of making a reference to them. When two or more instances are within 50.3 centimeters of each other, the affected region becomes a perfect sphere, with center at the centroid of the placement of the instance. The radius of the sphere is equal to the sum of the radii of the spheres surrounding each included instance. The effects of each instance are active throughout the entirety of the new volume. Experimentation has determined that biological processes that occur within this collective region operate at approximately 30 to 50% efficiency, depending on the complexity of the organism. Notably, microscopic organisms die immediately upon entering this region. All biological matter that expires within the region rapidly decays into disorganized admixtures of the four particle types, which gradually stratify over time. Now, let me just say, Dash 4 could still work for Invisible Woman because she does create force fields that have a certain amount of friction to them. Like, she can control the amount of friction the force fields have, so... If I were to stretch my fucking headcanon of this SCP, then yes, it is Fantastic Four related. SCP-2837 was discovered in 1847 within a sealed underground Roman tomb located in present-day Turkey by the Royal Society for the Study of Curiosities and Peculiarities, which is also SCP. SCP, yeah. A Foundation precursor. Yep, found it. The tomb has since been destroyed by regional conflict, but etching and drawings made at the time of discovery indicate that the entry door and interior of the tomb were covered in bas-relief carvings and frescoes depicting a previously unknown mystery cult devoted by the Roman god Orcus. Several of the drawings indicate that the cultists considered SCP-2837 to be a gift from Orcus, intended to purify the world in preparation for his return to serve his world. Notes from the archaeologists responsible for the finding indicate the tomb was sealed by the order of an official entitled the Curator Arcanorum, or Superintendent of Secrets. 2766, we read that, okay. Oh yeah, the little like water, I forgot what it's called. There's a specific term for it, but it's like it's in Rome. There's like this water path, and it will lead into a certain area, and depending on which month it is, like it will transform the water into something else, which was pretty cool. It was like very inspired by like Roman and Greek mythology, which I of course love, without a doubt, love. The fuck is this? Now let me actually check. Yeah, no, he's got a message, and I was like, I'm not sure what this is. The four objects in the associated particles represent the classical Greek, Roman elements and meditate different laws of physics within the bubbles. Fire is meditates energy. Fire and electricity were considered to be made of the same stuff, just in different intensities. 2 is earth and mediates attraction, things that are pulled towards each other, namely gravity and magnetism. Iron was considered to be pure earth. 3 is air and meditates through thought and information which is transmitted. Stored thought there was no concept of air. Gases being made of different elements, just bad air and good air. Get rid of the bot real quick. Bam. 4 is water and mediates motion. Obviously water is the purest expression of water. So yeah. Close enough to the Fantastic. I'm just kidding around. But who knows? Like, I mean, at the end, it would also make sense if the Fantastic Four would be inspired by the laws and the classical Greek and Roman elements and meditate different laws of physics, because Fantastic Four is very much like a science-based power, right? So like, who knows? Okay, so let's go on, shall we? We have 2 more left.